Yep. Hey, we had a couple more Sooners receive some all SEC honors and one big snub. We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And again, thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Sooners with no interruptions, members only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer club to find out more. Jay, we had a pair of Oklahoma Sooners earn some all SEC freshman team honors, Tory Blaylock and Courtland Guillory.
As expected, they better have. I mean, they were two of the better freshmen out there in the conference, especially Courtland Guillory, who was balling out at corner. Like, it was good to see how Courtland has grown for us this year. I didn't mention this on the last set of awards he got as a true freshman All-American or whatnot for On 3. And the AP's probably going to give him the same award as well. But it was really good seeing how the attacks on him didn't phase him throughout the year. Teams targeted him, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go after true freshmen because they're the ones with the least experience and the ones that are guaranteed to make some sort of a freshman mistake. He had a couple battles that he didn't win, but he knew the war was far from over, and so he kept battling, and here you go. You finish the season as a freshman All-American, all SEC honors, right? On 3's All-American squad as a true freshman. You get to make all of those mainly because you didn't quit. And so that excites me. And then, of course, Tory Blaylock comes in there. If he was a lot healthier, his numbers probably would have been even higher. But the good thing is they recognize that he was balling when he was 100%.
And even though his numbers aren't great, he still led the Oklahoma Sooners in rushing this year,
which is crazy,
with 444
Good
yards.
stuff.
Like, he finished just ahead of Xavier Robinson, but he was critical to your early season success. Remember, Jaden Ott couldn't find his way onto the football field. The coaching staff didn't trust him. Javonte Barnes played early and then sat out the rest of the season. Xavier Robinson was banged up all year. Taylor Tatum was banged up all year. So it was really the Tory Blaylock and only the Tory Blaylock show for the first 7-8 games of this season.
Yeah, roughly.
Because Javonte Barnes played his 4 and then was done. Jaden Ott was not good, and so he sat down. You needed Tory Blaylock, and he came through in a big, big way. Remember, had 100 yards rushing against South Carolina in a game where you still weren't getting a whole lot from your offense because John Mateer was still trying to find his way after the thumb surgery. But you had to have that win coming out of the Texas week, and Tory Blaylock gave you 2 big plays on that opening drive that really catapulted you to a victory. He got that big, what was it? 2nd and 19 run for like 18 yards or something like that. And then later in that drive, it was like a 1st and 15, and he runs in for a touchdown from like the 20-yard line. So like those 2 plays were incredibly important to the success of the rest of your season. And then you talk about Courtland Guillory, 2nd on the team in snaps this year on an Oklahoma defense that is one of the best in the nation. A true freshman emerged and became one of the stars on this team. He wasn't just a true freshman along for the ride. He was absolutely contributing every single week. And you don't win 10 games without either of these 2 guys, but especially without Courtland Guillory playing the way that he played. Let me read to you the targets over the last 5 games of the season. Okay. Ole Miss came after him, 8 targets, only gave up 2 receptions. Tennessee, 7. Yeah, I know that was bonkers. Like really balled out in that one. Tennessee, 7 targets, 4 receptions. 5 targets against Alabama, just 2 receptions. And then only 3 targets against Missouri, only 2 targets against LSU. Against Texas, they only targeted him 2 times. He gave 1 catch for 4 yards. Like in Oklahoma's biggest games, he played big. the only game in which he looked like a true freshman was the Auburn game. And again, going up against a Cam Coleman, who will be a top 15 pick in the NFL draft when he comes out. Courtland Guillory was a star this year.
Oh yeah, he balled out. And the future is so bright. Him and you got Eli Bowen together that, yeah, man. I'm so proud that we've been able to build out the one position that I think we were the most concerned about.
Yeah.
Honestly, since BV's been here, is really getting some really good corners that can handle it. I mean, Eli, of course, again, he gave you some good stuff when he finally came in as a true freshman last year. And most of the time with Oklahoma, you had a lot of Jay Valai had to rely heavily. Him and Brent Venables had to rely heavily on the portal, as they were trying to figure that room out. And then because Gentry couldn't stay healthy, that was one of your biggest issues. But then you got Eli, and now you got Courtland. And I love the guys right behind them as well. Jacoby Johnson gave you a little something. I'm very excited about Tristan Haynes as well as Malik Hawkins adding to that room. Devon Jordan going out there getting sacks as a corner.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of promise in that room going forward, and that's what you're going to need in order to survive the SEC is corners that are going to be aggressive and ready to play immediately. And so, yeah, Oklahoma has done a good job with that. Shout out to Jay Valai. Him and BV found some aggressive dudes, and they look good. So
they found guys that can live on an island and be okay with it. And with as much as they blitz, that was incredibly important. You had to have guys that were willing to go be that guy that can be on an island and not be flustered by it, not be caught off guard, not, be, panicky out there in coverage. And for a true freshman like Courtland Guillory and like Eli Bowen, both guys in back-to-back years, because Eli Bowen was a true freshman All-American, Courtland Guillory as well. For these guys to be able to be that in year one, I mean, the sky is the limit. Courtland Guillory, I mean, he's putting himself in that position to where he could be talked about as a first-round corner here in a few years. If he continues to develop and play the way that he's playing, it's crazy. And I know you want to get to this part because Michael Fasusi not getting on this all SEC freshman list, like, what are we doing here? This is coaches. What are you watching, man?
So David Sanders from Tennessee, as well as was it Carroll from Alabama, were the two true freshman linemen that got picked as SEC freshmen. Look, I know David Sanders was really good. He started since the beginning of the season. He had an injury that I think he was out for maybe a game or so, and I know how good of a player he is. I still don't understand how you could have overlooked Michael Fasusi in this scenario. I guess they just saw that those two played every single game that gives that to them. But yeah, that was tough for me to try to justify that when it comes to those two.
I don't remember Michael Fasusi getting cooked the way that Taylor Wine cooked Andrew Carroll. I don't recall a play like that from Michael Fasusi this season. Has he been perfect? No. Has he had some penalties? Yes. Is he a true freshman? 100%. But in pass protection, he's been pretty consistent. He's been pretty good, despite going up against some of the best pass rushers in college football all season long. So how you leave him off this team, I don't know, but I appreciate the SEC, all these fan bases, just adding a little bit more fuel to the fire here, whether it's for the defensive line, for Michael Fasusi, whatever it is. There's just more, bulletin board material for them to just feed off of as they get ready for the playoff.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Use this as additional fuel and go prove a point.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say.
That's the best way to right these wrongs, is to go prove a point. All right. Hey, it's time for your favorite segment of the week. It's Friday Fan Feels. Let's get into it. Coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.